Um, so today is Friday, of course, December 5th, and we will talk about what you want to talk about so I can help you get better. So who has an issue or a question so we can get into a mastery level discussion?
I can start. I have this for sale by owner that I'm working for a couple of weeks so far, and it seems like he wants to do by himself everything, is including the contract, the negotiations of his contract. He's uh, pretending, or he's having saying that he has three customers. That's how exactly he's referring. I have three customers, and I'm there was a probate. The probate, he says, is going to be like done in a couple of days. He said a week. When usually a probate lasts for months, but he said that's going to be like in a week. And I just had a conversation and offering to the contract so we can go over, so he knows exactly with the terms and everything.
The
And
contract, the
the
contract, well,
sell contract.
I got it, but let me
So
ask you, he's got three people interested. You've offered your services to go over the contract for one of those three people
yes.
for free, right?
No.
Nope.
No, initially it was for free. I mean, I can send the contract for free, like, but if he wants me to represent him, like in those negotiation, I didn't say for free.
Well, what I'm getting at is okay. So you got a for sale by owner that you've kind of cracked the door open a little bit. You're having conversations. He's waiting on the probate to be finished before, and he's got three people already kind of lined up, seemingly interested.
Exactly.
Have you had the discussion about you listing the home?
Yes.
And are you going to get the listing?
No.
Why?
I mean, not yet, because he said that doesn't want to list it on the MLSs.
Okay.
He's insisting.
So let me just have this role play with you. I'll be the agent, and I'll ask a series of questions. You guys can put some questions in the chat if you want, how you would handle it. And again, I don't have all the information, but let's just go. Whether or not we're at the table or not, it doesn't matter because many times we talk about having the objections at the table, but you can have it on the phone as well. So, Ellie, you are the for sale by owner. So I'll start this way. Um, so when probate is finished, you said you've got some people that are kind of lined up interested. Is that correct?
That's correct, and I'm gonna start negotiating with them, and it's gonna be sold as is. No tricky things with the inspections.
Okay. So when do you think this is going to take place? When is the probate going to be finished? When are you going to start negotiations?
So I expect these guys that from the court, they say that in 7 days they will give me the papers.
Okay. And I'm stepping out of role play here just a little bit, just so you guys know, I'm getting an idea of timeline. Now, I was surprised by that answer, 7 days. In my mind, I'm thinking, these probate things take weeks or months, right? So, when you want to seek clarity, every little bit of clarity you get helps you put the puzzle together. Okay, so you've got three people. Do you happen to know any of the three people that you're going to be talking to?
Yeah, they came to my house when I had this open house last couple of weeks ago, and when I listed the first time on Zillow, there was this couple came and they were really interested in it.
Okay, now there was an example of I could have asked that question better. Here's what I meant to say. So I'm going to go back and ask the question again and see if you're tracking with me. I'm not, Ellie, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to really everybody that I'm trying to teach. Do you have a personal relationship with any of the three? Now, before you answer that question, can you understand why I would ask that? See if
Typically,
it,
if people do,
No.
they would try to get it for lower price,
well, it
or
may be
at least
somebody, it may be somebody they play pickleball with or a family member or whatever. What I'm trying to find out is someone running on an inside track. And the answer is no. And let me ask you, Ellie, what is the main reason? Now, do any of those three, are they working with an agent to help them or represent them?
No, they do not.
Okay. Can you all understand why I would ask that question? Because now
Yes,
he's got,
because
yeah, hang on. He's got three potential people, or she does,
Mhm.
and there may not be any compensation in there at all. So I'm just, trying to figure out who's on first. All right. So what is the main reason, I guess, that you're doing this without the assistance of a professional like me?
So I don't want to pay commission.
Okay, so I anticipated that answer, but I wanted to find out for sure. So then how much money are you attempting to save?
I want just my price. I want 750 and that's it with no credits and nothing else. And if these three customers, one of them will pay me this, my attorney will take care of it.
I got that. Okay, so 750. And do you mind if I ask how you came up with that number?
Zillow.
Okay. And how would you feel if you found out that it was worth more than 750 and you sold it for 750?
Um, Actually, one of the client gave me more than seven, offered me on more than 750.
Now watch this, you guys. Watch this. Oh my gosh. You're kidding me, right? That's bad. That's not good news.
Why is that?
Now, am I taking this at a different angle than maybe you would? See, what I'm attempting to do is create a little bit of doubt. Well, here's the issue, and this is one of the things that I'm concerned about. So here's the bottom line. I want to help you. However, I can help you. Whether we do business now or later, we'll just see how it all plays out. But according to the National Association of Realtors, now I'm going to make a statement. People that sell it without the assistance of a professional, notice I'm not saying for sale by owner, generally sell it for quite a bit less than it's worth. Does that surprise you?
Yes, because my neighbor just sold it and they got like almost a million last year.
Okay, well, when you told these people that was 750, three people are interested and one is willing to pay more than that. So friend to friend, human to human, that would signal to me that you may not be asking enough money for your home. So my question is that a number you're happy with, or if you could get more, would you want to get more? Now, don't answer that question yet. I want to see who's with me, who's tracking with me, and why I'm asking the questions. Speak
To
up.
understand the motivation and if it's like something else behind that.
I haven't even gone into motivation at all.
Okay.
Creating doubt of her
Okay.
process of listing or positioning her property.
Right. I'm
Mm.
creating doubt. I'm creating curiosity. If I were in my office, you would see the slide behind me, the baseball slide, third base, the pain. And this is what I wanted to say on Recon today if you were on it, but I just assumed you guys weren't. Can someone sell the house without us? That's a big fat 100% yes. I want everyone to say yes. Everyone can sell their home alone, just like you can cut your own hair. However, the results will be obvious. Now, that is worth remembering. That's a little parallel or analogy. If so, I'll get that, right? So I'm going to go back into my role play. So would it, and it's important for me to know, There's some sellers out there that just want a number. And they want to move that number. I'm happy with that number. I want to move on, even if it's worth more money. So don't assume they want more money. We say top dollar, the most money possible, fewest hassles, fastest, whatever. Don't assume that. So Ellie, I'm attempting to, and when you have a conversation with them, is that okay? So how would he answer if it were worth more money? Would you want to be able to put that in your pocket? Are you happy with 750?
I definitely want more money.
Okay. So can you see the possibility that
Yes.
hiring the right agent to help you that does this for a living, you might be able to have their assistance for basically free? Would that concept interest you?
Tell me more. Yes.
Now, again, what I'm demonstrating there, am I selling myself? No, I'm not. Remember the 5 mindsets we talk about all the time, is that I'm selling her on the ideal of professional representation. Now, to me, I don't sound like a salesman like that. I want to help her. The way that she can be helped the most is hire a professional. And so if that could be done, if you could hire a professional to help you get your home sold and they were free, would you consider it?
Yes.
Okay. Very familiar path. Now, by the way, so now, all right, so now the time, what can we sit down and have that conversation? Or you might be at the table already. So can we take 5 or 10 minutes and have that conversation? This seller, by the way, for sale by owner, has 3 potential buyers, quote, in a holding pattern. That seller has another challenge. What is it? This is another place you could drill. What is a challenge that seller has that does not know about it? That does not know they have?
Home inspection.
Handling,
Well, home inspection will be part of it. There's a challenge before that.
So, first of all,
Maybe
Ellie, hang on a minute. Ellie, hang on. Let's these guys pop in.
I apologize.
It's okay. That's okay.
Qualifying the buyer,
Which one?
all of them.
Okay. What's easier? You guys, anybody here a circus, perform in the circus? Tame lions? How about, does anybody here juggle? Yes, everybody can juggle. 1 ball. Is 3 balls to juggle harder than 1 ball?
absolutely.
So when you have multiple buyers interested, that is a complex, that's complex, isn't it? I mean, most people here, if you've been in real estate for the length of time, you've had multiple offers. Now so the next avenue you drive down, all right, so let's say, well, I'm sure I can do my own, I don't need an agent. I may leave money on the table, but that's okay. Or I don't want to leave money on the table. I say, well, here's the second thing that concerns me, Ellie. You've got 3 buyers. How are you going to work them? Now that question is purposely vague. How are you going to, you know what I mean, right? But most likely the public would know that term. How are you going to work them to your advantage? Or if you get 3 offers, which offer are you going to take? How do you know you have the best offer? See, that would be when you can take them down the street called doubt. You'll have them leaning into you a little bit. Was there anything in that conversation you found helpful, Ellie?
Yes, very much. So I think the fact with the I mentioned something in the discussion with about the qualifying buyer, but not in this way. I probably phrase it different. And the answer all the time was like attorney. But right now I have a clearer, image how I should approach the conversation in a way that will make it kind of plays like a seed, the seeds of a doubt, so to speak. That's the professional is what he needs, because there are a lot of things in these conversations that we have back and forth that doesn't seems like he's going to get the right results. Not only because I want to list it, but just it doesn't seem, it missing something there. So yeah.
Right. I think a seller for sale by owner that has nothing going on, no buyers, and a seller basically with three potential buyers is equally a problem. In fact, well, I don't know that the one would be greater than the other, but the seller has a problem. So who's next? Who has a conversation they'd like to work on?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Come on. That's how we grow.
Denny, what was the I don't know, like the objection for this morning? Maybe we could just continue that in more details.
Sure. Oh, you weren't there this morning. The objection?
We want to wait, right?
Well, we had free for all Friday. We had several different objections. So free for all Friday, yeah. So some people we want to wait was one, and was a buy owner that they wanted to do it themselves. So it was kind of a review of the week. So which one do you want to? Which one do you want to do, Ganner? Let's show your muscles.
I don't know. So okay, so I'll challenge you. So I'll be an expired
Okay.
at the table, and
Okay.
you'll be the agent.
Groovy.
All right,
And you
Denny.
guys chat it away. I've got my chat open here, so you chat up. Let me know what you think, how I'm doing. If you have a question I should ask, put it in the chat. All right, we're at the table. So Tanner, all right, based on we've gone over everything, are you ready to put me to work?
Before anything, I appreciate your time, Denny. And as I mentioned, we just wanted some clarity. We weren't sure what we want to do, but at this point, we feel like later on would be a better time.
Okay, I get that. And when you say later on, what do you mean by later on?
So there are a couple of things, honestly. Spring is in our mind because we feel like there's more buyers activity in spring, and also we hear that the interest rates might come down, so it might help us get a little extra money. We, I mean, what we know is that when interest rates come down, the buyers come back on the market, so we can get multiple buyers and higher price.
It seems to be in everything you just said there that the later on is a more favorable market for you to put more money in your pocket.
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay. And how will you know when you're at that point?
I'm sorry, help me understand. What do you mean? How I would not know at what point what?
You see, when you fill up your car at the gas station, when it gets to a certain point, it shuts the pump off automatically, right?
That's
So let's say the market gets better each day. At what point will the market be good enough for you to step in and decide to sell?
that's a good question. I mean, especially after what we went through, we spent the whole summer pretty much, Danny, and we had a number in mind. We didn't get it, and we just think that maybe next year, might be the better time.
What was the number you had in mind?
600.
Remember, it's an expired, guys, so I would know the history of this and how long it's been on the market. And you had it, your listing price when it went off the market was at 625. Did you have any offers that were in the range of acceptability for you?
Well, I don't know, like we had offers, people just kept, walking away at some point, they lost jobs, and what the agent told us that, the latest one was involved with the government shutdown and this and that. So, there was like few things. We feel like it was the market pretty much.
Okay. Now notice you guys, I'm still, I'm still, everything's an analogy to me. Let me give you an analogy. I travel a lot, and sometimes when I go, I don't know where I am. I wake up in a motel room, and I'm not familiar with the room. You get this when you're spending the night somewhere. The room is dark, and you got to feel your way around a little bit. What I'm doing is feeling my way around to figure out some stuff, and I'm taking my time. This is not recon. I'm not trying to do it in 90 seconds because in reality, when you talk to somebody, 90 seconds isn't realistic. So now I'm going to go into a little bit of a different direction. There's a bazillion questions I could ask, or you could ask, but here's where I'm going to go. So are you saying then, let me make sure I understand what you're saying, that 600 is kind of what you want and you will wait and if you could get 600 today, would you be a seller?
Well, we would have, sold and moved, but as I mentioned, that didn't happen. And from what we saw previously, we don't think it's going to happen right now.
So
We don't believe
guys, did he answer my question? Don't settle for a part answer. I want to know. I know it wasn't successful, but if it could happen, notice I'm not saying if I could get you 600, that would be too much of a used car salesman. So if you could get 600 today, would you sell?
Probably we would consider it.
Okay, well, your listing expired last week. If you could have sold it for 600 last week, would you have sold it?
As I mentioned, we would have seriously considered it. We gave ourselves to get it sold by the end of this year. But then that's not happening. We were there. That's the thing.
Has he answered my question at you guys? He said, well, we'd consider it. So if you ask your fiance or soon to be fiance to marry you, and she said, well, I'd consider it, is that a yes? I don't think so. I don't think I'd go buy the cake and the dress. It's certainly
But
not the ring. Although you know that you can buy jewelry at Costco. All right, so let me ask you this. Is there something else other than waiting to get a certain number? Is there something else that's got you kind of maybe dragging anchor a little bit about the move?
so what happened, is since we couldn't get it done before the holidays, then you know it just like then right after it, the holiday season came in, and we're thinking maybe just wait out the whole thing and start fresh later on. That's honestly the idea.
All right, so I think that I've gone several times trying to pin him down this number. He's still being evasive. So sometimes if you're picking at something on your arm or whatever, just leave it alone a little bit. It'll just get worse if you keep picking. So I'm going to leave it alone just for a second. Where do you think I'll go next? Think about the baseball diamond. I know I don't have it in front of me, but there's people here that have seen it enough. First base is isolate clarity. Second base is motivation. Third base is pain. Where am I going to go next? Any guesses? I'm
Second
going to
base.
second base.
No,
So
you will go to pain.
what? I'm going to second base. Now, sometimes again, you'll see this in even when you watch TV and trials, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not pretending I'm a trial lawyer, but sometimes when you ask a series of questions and you're not getting solid answers, rather than keep hitting that same spot, back off. I'm going to leave it alone for a moment. And I'm going to change the subject, but I haven't forgotten it. All right, so you had the desire to want to sell. I mean, it sounds like you still have the desire to sell, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Why do you want to sell this house? What's next for you? Now I'm going to second base.
So, Denny, we wanted to get closer to our daughter who just had a baby, and that was the plan. But we're not in a rush right now. We could still do it. But that was the actual plan.
How does your daughter feel about that?
Oh, she was excited, just like us. And we'll
Now
do it.
when I asked that question, how many people thought, "Oh, what a good question. That's actually a little dirty pool." What I'm bringing now, is that emotional question? Sure. The daughter's probably excited about them moving. Now, here's their stick in the mud dad not wanting to sell his house because he can't get his number, so he's not going to go see her or the grandkids, and she needs and she needs a break. You see where I'm driving? Now, I don't know that any of that's true, but isn't it kind of wouldn't you think it could be true? So I don't want to bore you with, I can keep going if you want me to keep going, but I worry about you guys falling off and start playing with your Etch-a-Sketch or something like that. So what have you heard and you learned in just the way I'm starting to dissect this conversation?
When you're dissecting Tanner's conversation, my instinct was to ask him, have you given up on moving closer to your daughter? But your question is 10 times more powerful in hindsight. How do you distinguish how to ask which question?
Experience number one. And for example, you know me, my corny examples. When you meet somebody for the first time and you want to go have a milkshake, you probably don't want to say, "Hey, on our first date, let's go look at wedding dresses." I mean, it's kind of a common sense type thing, right? So you have to kind of build on something, and probably a better answer might be, Jose, is, all right, if I'm your Uber driver and I'm driving you and I pick you up in Boston and you want to go to Dallas, okay? I don't know where in Dallas you want to go. However, would it be fair to assume that I could start driving towards Dallas?
Yes.
So pick a direction. We have the model: clarity, isolation, motivation, pain. I don't know there is an exact order. Uh, what's more important is to understand, like your clarification and isolation. Make sure you have a clear direction. Oh, you are going to Dallas. Is that Dallas, Texas, or Dallas, Louisiana? You see, don't go on to the next base till you have a good understanding of where you're going. And then I don't think I'd worry about the order of the questions. That'll actually be kind of logical. Does that help you?
Also,
What did you say?
It
also
does,
goes
it does
based.
help you. It reminds you about the importance of listening, right?
I can't say it enough, and I know that I say it a lot. You guys are on it a lot. The skill that I've developed the most through this for the last 4 years, and hundreds of these calls, is my listening skills. I have developed a habit of writing when I'm talking to someone. I had a agent give me a referral the other day, and I pulled out the pad and I wrote down stuff. And then when I talked to the client for the first time, I'm writing down stuff. So yes, listening is really important. Tanner, you were saying something.
Danny, all the expires that I've met from late August until now, they all had this very common objection, and the situation. They wanted to wait out the whole season and probably go back next year. And this was like the way I played it was this gentleman that I met recently, and he was exactly the same way. He had like strong reason to move, but he was stuck with this number, and that's why I wasn't trying to make up any stories, but that's how he was pretty much.
Well, let me put a bow on it for you so you know. So I don't know if everything that the conversation I've already had, maybe you had with him. Things I'm going to point out to you that I heard that I want you to hear is he was evasive when I kept asking him, would you be a seller today at 600? Now, to me, that's not logical. He told me that was his number. He wanted to wait until that happened. When I asked him, he wasn't definitive. So here's the danger when you ask a question and they're not definitive, that's like walking on ice that starts crackling under your feet. It may not be solid. That's like the girl saying, "Yes, I'd consider marrying you." Well, okay, I don't know what that means. So that's when I ask him. I go back to the isolation. I was thinking there was something else holding him back. Listen, it's not logical, Tanner. I'm going back to you. If you're working with an expired, said, "Oh, I'm going to wait till later on for spring or interest rates or whatever." You said later on spring interest rates. I wrote it all down. But if you could get 600 now, would you sell it? If that's not a yes, to me that indicates there's something else going on.
It's very possible because at the same time a lot of people they speak with a lot of people, so a lot of the times I've learned if they start giving me this kind of objection, I just don't waste too much time. I go meet with them just to learn something for myself, develop, and move on. I don't know, like I just.
But that can work, or that you could be burning potential business down the road. I mean, but clearly I'm not getting. It makes no sense to me. By the way, okay, I'll ask. If assuming Tanner is married, the wife would be there, and I'm sure there's a motivation to get to their first grandchild. So let me just finish this and say, okay, all right. So let's say you're stuck on your number, 600. Yeah, well, I got 600 a day. I'd do it, but other than that, I won't move. Okay, heck with my grandkid. They won't be out of high school for another 15 years, so I got time. I got time to wait. All right. Um, I might ask, okay, so how did you come up with the 600? What's important to you about the 600?
We need certain equity from the house, so we don't have to have a mortgage when we move close to the daughter.
Okay. And when you go closer to the daughter, you sell to 600. Let's say that you wanted to net 600. What price range home are you going to buy there?
350 to 4.
And I made an assumption there. I'd probably back up and say, will you be buying a home there?
Yeah, we'll be buying another one.
Okay.
From 350 to 4. That's
350 to 4. And you don't want a mortgage, right?
We currently owe 135.
135. All right, so that's 500, 400. Well, all right. So clearly there's some room for you to wiggle because you're going to have more than $400,000 in equity at selling at 600, correct?
Denny, after all the expenses, after you take out everything back and forth, probably will end up pretty much around there.
All right. So I'll put the numbers aside. How long are you willing to wait for that number to happen?
Spring.
What year?
2026.
Okay. What if it doesn't happen spring 2026?
I mean, I don't know. We're gonna figure it out somehow. We have to.
Now I'm going to give you a must do, you guys. This is a must. In every conversation at some point in time, you're going to have to ask them this. All right. So Tanner, based on what's happening right now in the market we're in, you're in Nassau County, New York. Is the market working in your favor as a seller or working against you?
Well, if we speak previously, we didn't get the numbers, so I guess right now it's not a good time. It wasn't a good time, at least, for what we were looking for.
What did you just say? I don't know what you said.
Okay, so when we were listed, obviously the market didn't work in our favor because we didn't get the result we were hoping for.
But do you think if you'd have sold it previous to this, would you have gotten more? Would you have gotten 600 if you sold it a year or two or three ago?
Well, probably like, 2, 3 years ago, probably. We feel like, the interest rates were lower and we feel we would have definitely, got more. But I couldn't sell that time, we had different situation going on. So we had
So
to wait.
clearly that he's not it's okay. I mean, he's answering a question like a real person would, but he's not giving me the clarity I want. So I'm just going to let him know. The reason I'm asking is that, you could have sold your house for more 3 years ago. So the market's kind of trending down, which means that if you can't get 600 now, maybe in spring you would get less than you can get right now. That would indicate the market's not working against you, correct?
Yeah.
So maybe realistically, you'd have to give up on selling in the spring. Does that work for you?
No, it does not work. I'm retired. It does not work. We have to. In spring, we have to.
Okay. Well, you got him at that point. I mean, then he's got some motivation. So if you got to sell it by, you have to sell it by the spring, then we have to position it where the buyers want to buy it. And I'm not even going into the other side of the coin. He's going to buy a home, he's downsizing, but I'm choosing not to do that from a time standpoint. And the fact he's downsizing, plus which, I want to give somebody else a chance. So who else would like to role play with me? Thank you, Tanner. You can be the agent or you can try to stump me.
I would
Who would like,
to,
I'm sorry, Adriana?
yes, I would like to role play with you.
Okay. You want to be the agent or you want to be the customer?
I am the customer.
Buyer, or you want me to be a buyer or seller?
Uh, the the agent of the seller because I don't want to decrease more than I don't know 900.
You want me to be the seller, right?
Yeah,
Do you have a particular objection you want me to give you?
yeah. That you don't want to decrease the market price, the price because you don't want.
Okay. All right. So am I a current listing or one you're interviewing?
Yeah, no, I already have the listing.
Okay. So Adriana, I know why you're calling me. I'm not going to lower the price.
So Denny, tell me, if you don't want to lower the price, do you really want to sell the home?
We have it listed, right? I'm not doing this for my good looks.
I know, but you see, the market is telling us that in order for you to sell, you have to calm down because nothing is happening. There is no movement. We are stuck.
Well, what else can you do? I mean, you've only had one open house in the last 3 months. I don't see any ads in the paper. I don't see a sign spinner out there with during the time you had an open house. So what are you doing to market my home?
Well, I've been calling a lot of realtors and I'm paying a lot of advertising on Facebook. And unfortunately, while I get some calls, as soon as I share the price, they are not willing to come to see the unit.
Okay, now I'm going to pause for a moment. That question's kind of problematic to me. Does anybody know why that's problematic? This is just us. We're agents now talking. I've had 20,000 plus conversations with customers. That's problematic. Here's why. If you're getting calls and people are hanging up on the price, that may have happened 20 years ago, but it doesn't happen now because they already know the price most likely before they call. True?
True.
So therefore, if you would tell me that, and knowing what I know, if people are calling you because they're interested in my house, and then when they talk to you, they hang up, I think it's you.
I had a similar situation.
Did
Well,
they
Denny
make
they
said,
any
hang up,
offers?
but they don't know put an offer.
It's if they're calling on the house, that is if an agent's calling wanting to get information on it, or a buyer specifically is calling, um, that is suggesting the fish are nibbling. So let's go. You're on a tough road. Anybody else want to handle me as a seller, me as your listing, going through the model we talk about, the 3 M's? David, you were here a minute ago. Yeah, I see you. You're here. I don't know if you can talk or not. David's, we had this conversation yesterday. He's working on this, does it quite well. We recommend you go through the 3 M's. David, are you able to talk? Maybe he's coming. We'll
Yeah.
see. So you have your share of this, so I'm a seller. And here we go, role playing. David, I know, I mean, I know you're calling me. We've talked like 2 weeks ago, and this house has been on the market 30 days. I'm not ready. I'm not lowering the price.
I understand that you don't want to reposition the property. Is it okay if I share with you the results that we've received with marketing the property?
Oh yeah, I mean you do it every couple of weeks, but yeah. So go ahead, tell me what you know.
Um, so usually I'll share, whatever views that we've received on the property from different internet platforms like Zillow or MLS Shared, and then I ask would they like me to share with what's going on in our local market with comparable properties. So I share with
Oh,
them.
yeah, really fast for people who don't know, and I don't have my slides behind me, is the 3 M's. This is easy to remember, and it's a great format to follow with your sellers. Number one is a market update. Start with a market update. This gives you something to talk about. The market update would be homes that are on the market in the neighborhood. I'm not talking about the market, 4 million homes sold in the US. No, I'm talking about what's going on. They want to know, and most likely they already know because they know neighbors, they see the signs come and go. Always start with a market update. This house with the green shutters, is now pending or back on the market. There's a new listing down the road, blah, blah, blah. There's 90 seconds. What David's doing now, he started with a marketing update. And so that's the second M, market report, marketing update. So go ahead and give me the marketing update, Dave.
So the marketing and advertising is doing very well, which is great. And I like to share with them that, showing these thousands of people is very helpful so that they don't argue that the property's not getting properly exposed. So when we share the advertising, we always want to, emphasize and reiterate the market advertising is doing very well. Would you agree? We've reached 20, whatever amount of people. Um, when we share the advertising, we make sure that we include that part of that.
So hang
And
on a
then
second.
in regards to the
Yeah, hang on just a second. One thing I want to coach you guys on is this. And now I know David, he's in my market, and so he does a lot of don't use the word advertising. I've never said that before because I don't know if it's ever come up. When the client thinks of advertising, what do you think they think of? Print or media. They do not consider the internet advertising. That's our marketing. So, and David, I never thought about this before, but I'm just coaching everyone on it. Do your best not to use the word advertising because when you say advertising, I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, I don't even see it in the paper. I get the paper. People still get the paper. I don't see you in a home seeker section on Saturday. So does that make sense, David?
Yeah.
And so what he's attempting to do, and maybe it's my computer, or my connection, it was kind of hard for me to hear. The marketing, Adriana, is okay. So over the last week, we had 155 people. Actually, and I'll give you a real one. This was one of my listings. We came up in 1,200 searches in the last week. That's a very realistic number. So that means when someone's looking for a house in your area, you came up in a lot of searches. Now that's like saying I'm looking for a vehicle with four tires. Well, but it may not be like a Ford F-150. But again, you've got to give them the macro. We came up in 1,200 searches in the past week. Of the 1,200 people, 14 actually went to the home and clicked through it. They didn't, no one shared it. 3 people took the virtual tour. Here's what I want you to do this weekend. In fact, for Christmas, have your spouse or your loved one give you this as a gift. A tattoo on your arm that says, so you can see the marketing's working. Repeat after me. So you can see the marketing's working. Because once you can demonstrate that the marketing's working and it's not selling, guess what? There's only one answer. And who controls that answer? They do. The third M is make a decision. So David transitioned in from you've gone over the marketing, the marketing, then how do you transition into the conversation? Now, no, I started the call saying, hey, I'm not lowering the price. Where do you go next?
Yeah. So, after going over advertising and
Yeah, but stop. Don't say that word.
marketing, after going over marketing, and ensuring that it's working. List Track, by the way, is really great. I looked at it last night. I don't know if they have that in their MLS, but that's a really cool way for you to share with your sellers that our MLS has what the property has done in reaching people. And then I do like to ask them if I may share with them, in the local market, similar properties that have come to the market since we've listed. That's our new competition
We're
and what's
past
gone
that.
under. Oh, okay.
David, we're past
Okay.
that.
Okay.
We've done the first two M's. Now we
Okay.
get to the third M.
Okay. And then we get to the third M. It's, the market is currently saying no to where the property is positioned. How would you like to move forward?
What a great way to do it. Now with this information, how would you like to move forward? Okay, well, all right, so I'll give you one. Well, I don't want to lower the price. What else can you do?
Mm.
Play baseball, David.
Um, yeah,
He had a customer just like this. I
we
think
went
he brought him like 6 or 8 offers and
13.
13 offers, and the guy and the house was listed like mid threes,
Mhm.
and it already lost $30,000 in equity because the seller was stubborn because that's the market we're in. So, hey, look, I've already lowered my price twice, David. I don't want to do it again.
I understand that you don't want to lower your price, Denny. But if we're driving down the highway and there's $100 bills coming out of a suitcase on the top of the hood, would you stop and pull over?
Well, are they coming out of your car or my car?
They're coming out of your car.
Of course, yeah.
Okay. Well, looking at what the market trend is and what we're seeing, do you think that it's going to help you to stay on the market longer or hurt you?
Well, but but I've come down twice already.
We understand, and our goal is to get you the most amount of money that we can for your house, Denny. But if the market is saying no, if we don't reposition, it's going to continue to say the same thing.
Do y'all get that? Now, I'm coaching David, and he's come a long way. And we had a conversation yesterday about bedside manner and being positive, and I can be direct. However, one of the things we talked about yesterday in our coaching call was um, you can be direct with caring if you have the right tone. How does a doctor deliver bad news and you walk away with the bad news but still think the doctor cares? So many times when I'm doing role play, you'll see me in my D mode, my hard mode. But again, you can what we have to do. First of all, you have to believe to your center part of your bones that you know the past, you know the present, you know the market trends. If the market is saying no, the only thing that can change is position, right?
Mhm.
Danny, are you going to be buying a house when you sell this property?
Oh, now he's taking over the role play. No, no, I just don't need this house anymore.
And what are you going to do when you sell the house?
Just pay off the mortgage and, I'll probably put some money in some other bills, etc.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, what happened if the offer that we receive is below market, by below the price that we have it on the market? Like we have put I don't know, 900 and we receive an offer for 800. It's
Okay.
just a number.
Yeah. Okay.
You say no,
Yep.
we agree that we are not going to take that offer. However, this is 2 weeks later. I have reached out to that agent and asked him if that was the best offer that they have to do with his client. And well, if he considered to come back with still 820, would that be something that you would consider
Are you
now?
my agent?
Yes,
Have you heard from the other agent that they're offering 820?
yes.
I wouldn't do that. All right. I would handle it like this. Hey, Adriana, the buyer came back, the ones at 800. I was able to get a hold of the other agent. They got a hold of their buyer. They have come up to 820. Now, what I'm demonstrating right here is what?
Silence.
Silence. David and I worked on this yesterday. There's more power in your silence than in your words.
And if I may say something, Danny, I think it was not sure yesterday when Matt was role playing, demonstrating, and I just pointed out his tonality, even yours, when he spoke, his tonality, he paused, after certain phrases, after certain questions. It means a lot. I'm still trying to develop that as much as possible, but it's so powerful. It works. When you practice, it works.
Well, you guys have already mastered tonality in certain circumstances, like with your family, with your kids, with your doggy. I love my little doggy, right? We just have to do it with our customers. So Adriana, you're the seller again. They've come up to 820. So you're thinking about it. So I'll give her time to process. And the other thing I want you guys to understand is this, is that, and you know this, when you're trying to think and someone's talking to you, is it not a distraction? Let people process. 820. Now, she might sit there. I mean, I didn't really ask her a question, so it's not a break in the rule to say something. But let's say I go 30 seconds or so and she's thinking about it. I see she's thinking. So how does that strike you?
Good.
Not you,
Yes.
Dave.
Oh,
David, hang on. I'm glad. Hey, listen, I got somebody who's going to take 820 for your house. So hang on. Adriana, how's that strike you?
Yes, no, certainly it makes a difference. You're right. I just realized that sometimes I want to fill the blank myself because it's too quiet.
Naturally, they would answer this naturally, that they would say, but do you think we could get maybe just a little bit more?
Yeah,
Naturally,
thanks for
that's
being a little more difficult. Well, all right. So now here's all right. So this is a skill. Remember, we say all the time, be agnostic. My goal is not to sell a house. My goal is to help them. Well, let's evaluate this. So, all right, we've been on the market 60 days. This is the first offer we've had. So, question number one is before we get to if we can get more, let's just assume for the moment we can't. Will this number get you to where you want to go?
it is what it is. Okay. I mean,
No, ideally, no.
Okay,
I
we'll
would
say
really,
no. I want the harder path. All right, so then are you a firm no at 820?
Is there anything else that you can do?
Like what? Now, when she asked that question, rather than saying no, I don't know what she means. Like, you want me to go wash your car or what? So, what would you like me to do?
Well, you had mentioned that there were other two people interested, that they were coming with numbers, and I mean, what I hear you saying is that this is the only one we have in writing. What about the others two?
The other two are out there. I know we're supposed to have a showing tomorrow, tomorrow, the next day too. But what we have to do is deal with what's right in front of us.
or I
So,
have some, I have something else for you, Danny. Danny, do you think maybe we could do just like a light update to, you know, get a little more value for the house? You know what I'm saying? Like to do some renovations, like just a little bit something just to refresh it.
and you guys are wild today, aren't you?
I've had it, Danny. You know, like my clients, they're like, we
Sure. I mean,
spend
it's
some
okay.
money.
You
You
cannot,
know,
you can't stump me. So here you go. Well, okay. So if you were going to refresh it, what would you do?
I don't know, maybe like repaint the rooms just to give them a fresh look, and I don't know, like something like that. You know, simple but not too crazy.
So then if you did that, then would you be willing to sell to these buyers for 820?
No, I would do it because I would want a little more than that.
Okay. So then what, if you did that, then how much more would you want? Notice I'm not answering his question yet because I'm going to pin him down here in a moment. Then what would be your number that you would anticipate getting?
Well, I'm anticipating to get the number that I want, 900. You know,
900. Okay.
I feel like maybe if we give it a fresh look, we might attract new buyers, or the people might have different ideas. We change the carpet, you know.
Well, would you invest, how much would you plan on investing to do all that?
Probably like 10, 15,000, no more than that.
So would you invest ten to $15,000 to get $5,000 or $8,000 back?
No, that's not a smart decision. That wouldn't be.
Well, they do a study on that. You're asking an awesome question. They do a study every year, the home builders and the Realtor Association, and they evaluate all the different things you could do and improve your home. And I look at the list that I could pull it up right now on the computer. It's a cost, it's a forget the name right this second. The cost improvement, or I'll think of it in a second, but you can Google it. It lists the things. So 99% of things you could do to make your house look better will make the house look better, but the return will be less than you pay for it. So does that take you closer to your goal or further away from it? Cost value report. That's what's called. So when they ask that, no. In fact, really quick here, let me show you something that happened today. I'm going to give you this quiz. I see people on here that I'd like to have them speak up because you guys, this is a mastery question. Got a listing that's been on the market now 60 days. And it's over $1 million, low to no showings, so we're outcome number one. Had a buyer that looks at it. Now, I'm going to read this to you. It's very short. I want you to tell me what you're hearing. I want to hear from some of you that I'm not heard from, because I'm sharing wisdom with you, and this is a step towards mastery. Let me get it right here. It is. So we've only had 2 showings in 60 days. So the seller wants to know the feedback from the buyer, and we're attempting to get it. And it's not our buyer; it's another agent. My daughter is the listing agent. This is what my daughter said. She followed up with the other agent more than one time, but finally got this information. I heard from the buyers, and they aren't ready to make a decision. This is my daughter speaking. This tells me they aren't the buyers for this home, so now we need to focus on next steps. This is the message from the seller, text-wise. This happened today. Morgan, what did they say? Already, I'm thinking something, and I wonder if you're thinking it. Are they looking at other homes, other places? And do you think no decision yet could still be a maybe? So what's going through your mind right now?
So he's willing. Okay, I'm gonna wait for the other people. I'm sorry.
It might be a positioning concern.
What do you mean?
I mean that if the price was right, they might make an offer.
Okay.
Buyers in today's market might like a home, but they feel like if they wait, the price will come down.
Okay.
It shows his motivation. Actually, he's willing to listen to anything. Maybe if they had.
I would probably message the buyer's agent and say, just very direct to them, is that, if there was something about the house or the price position that was different, would the buyer be ready to make an offer today or this weekend? So I could isolate where the buyer really is, if they're just being passive, or it's something that we could bring a deal together with.
All right. Well, let me tell you here. So my daughter answered this. This is her answer, next answer. In terms of the recent buyers, they are still weighing the cost to remodel the home versus buying a newer home with less work. They are looking at other homes as well, but they've not made any decisions. Here's the seller's next question. What did they want to remodel? Floors, my daughter, floors, master bathroom, pool, outdoor kitchen, new appliances, and some smaller things. This is the seller. Last one. Maybe they won't find a newer home they like as much, or really want the neighborhood, and come back to ours. We could throw in some furniture and some remodel money, possibly as well. and they realized that they just lowered the price, $150,000. Sellers will always remind you, I've already come down that much, which is mainly because of the age of the home and that people may want to redo some things.
It couldn't be more real.
So I'm going to read my text to her. Now that was my daughter, and I'm included because it's my neighbor, and my daughter's my co-list. Here's what's going on. You know me and my crazy analogies. I'm asking Yvonne out on a date. And rather than tell me, get away from me, you're a creep, she's saying, no, I don't want to go. I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe there's something I can do to have Yvonne like me. Like, what do I need to change? I need to lose 20 pounds. I'll go to the beach. I'll work out, whatever. And this is my response. And you tell me if you're tracking with me. This is a seller that is focused on the wrong thing. They think that we can somehow change someone's mind. A genie can't bring people back from the dead. They can't make people fall in love. We can't bring people back from the dead. We can't make them fall in love with a house. This is my response, David. The response or lack of one from this buyer isn't my main concern. Now tell me if I got a good bedside manner. My concern is how few buyers are giving us consideration. That's what we should address. You hear me? I'm concerned that there's only been 2 people look at the house. What about all the other buyers? This seller is hyper-focused. Maybe there's something, maybe you cook them a lasagna dinner. We'll give them money for remodeling or whatever. When your seller starts focusing on what can you do to change their mind, listen, in my lifetime, I can't think of one instance where someone who didn't like the home, where the seller said, I'll do anything to make you want to buy it. I don't remember it ever working other than pricing it. That's where you were going, David. I said, my concern is how few buyers are giving us consideration. That's what we should address. As Morgan said, my daughter, we don't believe this is the buyer for your home, and most likely there's nothing we can do to change that. Anything is possible, but I want to find a position that puts us in control. Now, what do you think of my response?
That was
Go ahead.
that was heavy, Danny. That was like really that was heavy. That was heavy. That was a great way to make him realize it's not because if you give him one thing, they'll come back with something else. But the fact that we had only 2 people in 60 days, and why?
And also brings clarity, because if you are straightforward and you are very clear in what you're saying, this will save on long time a lot of pain and actually creates a better relationship in the. That's something I learned from my experience. The more you try to protect their feelings, the more you hurt everybody's feelings.
Denny,
Yeah.
do you think that there's ever been a transaction that you handled that came together because you reached out to the buyer's agent on a listing?
Not if it's not at the right price, no.
I just find so many sellers in today's market want feedback, and I feel bad for agents that, like, when we do showings, they'll call, text, email, like they're just looking for help to present to their seller why the house isn't selling. But I think what you said, what Morgan said, is that if a buyer is serious, they're going to present an offer, and there's nothing we can do to make them want to present an offer. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
Honestly, on the other side of the transaction, if you are a buyer's agent and somebody's kind of begging you to go and your client wants to go there, but you haven't got the move, you're gonna get a lot of leverage, because I know now how to negotiate with you and get the price that I want for my client.
you're right. The issue is this, and what's interesting, guess what? I haven't heard a peep since I sent that. And that's going to her and her brothers. I mean, that's
Maybe, yeah.
When you
He's
say
still
heavy
kind
now,
of absorbed.
David, do you think I had a bad bedside manner there? Do you think that was too direct? David?
No, I think that you show genuine concern for where the real problem is. It's not about feedback or what could be done to change a buyer that's not interested in mine. What we need to focus on is selling the property. And that was an excellent way to deliver, what we should be focused on is the low activity in our current position, our current outcome, and how do we fix that so that, and I love the control part. Sellers always want to be in control, and we're in a buyer's market. They don't like it. People don't like not being in control. Yeah.
So that's a good point, and we can end on this because I know some of you have to go, and I appreciate you staying a little longer. But when a seller wants you to chase down that one showing you had in the last year and try to put a square peg in a round hole, the concern is this is what all of our concerns should be. You're worried about the one buyer that's they're not coming back. I'm concerned there's 7,000 real estate agents in our little area here. What about those buyers? I want to be in a position, this is what I said, that puts us in control. The world changes for you and your seller when you're in control. How do you get in control? Positioning.
If I may ask,
Hang on, do I beat that drum enough into you guys? Go ahead, Tanner.
now that three outcome sheet that you teach us, and I forgot the lady's name. She mentioned that a lot of the agents, they want feedback or this and that because they don't set the expectations that you teach us. Basically, they go after like the stuff that try to just give people something to look at. But if you set the expectations the way we're told, what's gonna happen after we position, want to know, want to know show, the whole thing. I do it all the time, and I never have to give detailed feedback on who said what. But it's very clear. Did we have showings or no? It's obvious.
You're right. If you only have one showing in a dog's life,
You're done.
that's the only feedback you need. So, do you guys hear something today that was worthwhile for an hour and 15 minutes?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Help me be better. Help me be a better coach to you. Sometimes I don't think I'm doing a good job because you guys are so quiet on the other end, and I don't want to monopolize by doing all the talking. I know I break up the role plays, but I'm trying to teach you what I'm thinking.
Mhm.
Well, you've always been amazing, Danny. Thank you so much. God bless you. I respect
I'm
you.
kind of new to the yeah.
I
It's good.
appreciate it.
Well, I
I
appreciate being on. You guys have a great weekend, and this will
Thank
be
you.
if you've not been on my YouTube channel, this will be posted. You go back, watch it, speed watch it, whatever. Go to Denny's Mastery Real Estate at YouTube. Join it. I want to get to 10,000, so I get that little trophy behind me. I think we're like 1,300 right
Good.
now. See you
Thank
guys.
you.
Let's get
Thanks,
Thank
Denny.
you.
Bye.
Have a good one.